I regard myself, Chris, as the greatest failure that ever walked the planet Earth. Why?
I keep thinking about this video. What if he could have watched himself say these things back in his 20s or 30s?
Because I didn't achieve the very basics.
Would his life have turned out differently if he took the risks he was avoiding instead of ending up here saying these words?
I could have been, right? I'm the could have been man, but I ended up with nothing.
Somewhere in the future, there's a version of you who didn't try their best. Not because they couldn't, but because they didn't try to become who they knew they could be. They lived the same weeks on repeat, they traveled the same roads, followed the same routines, and had the same conversations year after year.
There you go. You got it.
Life wasn't terrible. It was familiar, predictable, comfortable. And for a long time, that felt like enough. But every once in a while, a quiet thought would show up, a feeling that they were meant for something more, that there was a version of themselves that they hadn't stepped into yet. They knew what they could become, they felt it, and then they didn't do anything about it and pushed that thought aside. Not because it wasn't real, but because listening to it meant change, so they told themselves they'd do it someday, when things slowed down, when the timing felt right. What they didn't realize was that someday has a way of turning into forever. Comfort doesn't stop you all at once. It slowly convinces you that there's no rush, that you have time, that tomorrow will always be there. And before you realize it, years have passed. You don't know what you've done, they don't know what they've accomplished, and they feel like they've done nothing with their lives. They weren't afraid of the hard work. They were afraid of trying and falling short, of being seen chasing something bigger, of proving all of the doubters right. So they chose what felt safe. They chose what they already knew. Nothing dramatic happened. Life didn't collapse. It just quietly moved on. And that version of them learned to live with that feeling, that they never really tested what they were capable of. And that's the moment you're standing in right now. This is the part where you either keep pushing that thought away or start listening to it, because that voice doesn't show up by accident. You don't need to be fearless. You don't need everything figured out. You just need to decide whether this is where your story stays or it changes. Because the most dangerous version of you isn't the one that fails. It's the one who knew they were meant for more and kept saying someday until someday became forever.